Hello mga batang kabida best ng JC Best. I'm Teacher Leslie and today I will teach you how to add and subtract fractions. Let us define first what is fraction. Fraction comes from the Latin word fractus, which means broken. It represents a part of a whole or more generally any number of equal parts. 2/5 is an example of fraction. The upper number is the numerator and the bottom number is the denominator. Some basic concepts must be given emphasis before dealing with fractions. These concepts explain why it works in a certain way in dealing with operations and fraction. Let us take a short view of this. First, you need to know how to find greatest common factor. It is commonly used when reducing a fraction into its lowest term. Example, find the GCF of 6 and 10. List the factors of 6 and 10. The factors of 6 are 1, 6, 2, and 3. The factors of 10 are 1, 10, 2, and 5. The common factors of 6 and 10 are 1 and 2. So the greatest common factor of 6 and 10 is 2. Second, you need to know how to find the least common multiple. It is commonly used when adding and subtracting dissimilar fractions. Example, find the least common multiple of 4 and 6. You need to list the multiples of 4 and 6. The multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, and so on. The multiples of 6 are 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, and 36. The common multiples of 4 and 6 in the given numbers are 12 and 24. Therefore, the least common multiple of 4 and 6 is 12. Third, you need to know how to express fraction in lowest term. This is commonly used when reducing a fraction into its simplest form. Example, express 4 over 8 into its lowest term. First, you need to find the GCF of both numerator and denominator. The factors of 4 are 1, 2, and 4. The factors of 8 are 1, 2, 4, and 8. Therefore, the greatest common factor of 4 and 8 is 4. Second, divide the numerator and denominator of the given fraction by their GCF. 4 over 8 divided by 4. 4 divided by 4 is equal to 1. 8 divided by 4 is equal to 2. Therefore, the lowest term of 4 over 8 is equal to 1/2. Remember, a fraction is in lowest terms if it is a unit fraction, a fraction with a numerator of 1. The numerator and denominator are consecutive numbers, follows each other in a series, and both numerator and denominator are prime numbers, numbers having no common factors other than 1. These conditions show that the numerator and denominator are relatively prime. Fourth, you need to know how to express an improper fraction as mixed number. This is commonly used when simplifying a fraction. Example, convert 15 over 7 as mixed number. First, you need to divide the numerator by the denominator using long division. 15 divided by 7 is equal to 2. 2 times 7 is equal to 14. 15 minus 14 is equal to 1. 1 is the remainder. Second, the quotient will be the whole number of the mixed number, and the remainder will be the numerator of the fraction part over the denominator. Those are some of the terms that you will encounter in adding and subtracting fractions. And now we will proceed in addition and subtraction of fractions. First is similar fractions. Similar fractions are fractions which have the same denominator. To add or subtract similar fractions, add or subtract the numerators and copy the common denominator. Simplify the resulting fraction if possible. Example, add 3/6 plus 1/6. First, you need to add the numerators. 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. Second, copy the common denominator. The denominator is 6. Third, simplify the lowest term by dividing both numerator and denominator by the greatest common factor. The greatest common factor of 4 and 6 is 2. 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2. 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. Therefore, the final answer is 2/3. Example number 2. Subtract 8 over 15 minus 3 over 15. Step 1. Subtract the numerators. 8 minus 3 is equal to 5. Step 2. Copy the common denominator. The denominator is 15. Step 3. Simplify your answer by dividing the numerator and the denominator by the greatest common factor. The GCF of 5 and 15 is 5. 5 divided by 5 is equal to 1. 15 divided by 5 is equal to 3. Therefore, the difference of 8 over 15 and 3 over 15 is 1/3. Second is dissimilar fractions. Dissimilar fractions are fractions with different denominators. To add or subtract dissimilar fractions, find the least common denominator or LCD, then rewrite each fraction into its equivalent fraction using the LCD. Add or subtract the numerators and write the sum or difference over the common denominator. Simplify the resulting fraction if possible. Example number 1. Add 1/4 plus 2/6. Step 1. Determine the LCD. Use the multiples of 4 and 6 to find the common denominator. The LCD of 4 and 6 is 12. 12 is the denominator. Step 2. To get the equivalent fraction, divide the LCD by the denominator and multiply the answer or quotient by the numerator. 12 divided by 4 is equal to 3 times 1 is equal to 3. 12 divided by 6 is equal to 2 times 2 is equal to 4. Step 3. Add the numerators over the common denominator. 3 plus 4 is equal to 7 and copy the denominator 12. The final answer is 7 over 12. Example number 2. Subtract 3/5 minus 3 over 15. Step 1. Determine the LCD. Use the multiples of 5 and 15 to find the LCD. The LCD of 5 and 15 is 15. The denominator is 15. Second, get the equivalent fractions by dividing the LCD by the denominator and multiplying the answer to the numerator. 15 divided by 5 is equal to 3 times 3 is equal to 9. 15 divided by 15 is equal to 1 times 3 is equal to 3. Step 3, subtract the numerators over the common denominator. 9 minus 3 is equal to 6. Copy the denominator 15. Step 4, simplify your answer. The greatest common factor of 6 and 15 is 3. 6 divided by 3 is equal to 2. 15 divided by 3 is equal to 5. Therefore, the final answer is 2/5. Third is mixed similar fractions. For mixed similar fractions, add or subtract the whole numbers and the fractions. Simplify the resulting fraction if possible. Example number 1. Add 4 and 5/10 plus 2 and 3/10. Step 1. Add the whole numbers and the fractions. 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. Copy the denominator 10. Step 2. Combine and simplify. The greatest common factor of 8 and 10 is 2. 8 divided by 2 is equal to 4. 10 divided by 2 is equal to 5. Therefore, the final answer is 6 and 4/5. Example number 2. Subtract 5 and 8 over 10 minus 2 and 2 over 10. Step 1. Subtract the whole numbers and the fraction. 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. 8 minus 2 is equal to 6. Copy the denominator 10. Step 2. Combine and simplify. 6 and 10, the greatest common factor is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Therefore, the final answer is 3 and 3/5. Example number 3. Subtract 6 and 2/5 minus 3 and 4/5. Step 1. Since we cannot subtract 4 from 2, 4 from 2, we need to regroup 1 or 5/5 from 6. Any fraction with the same numerator and denominator has a value of 1. So, 5 over 5 has a value of 1. So, 6 will become 5. And then we have 5/5 plus 2/5. 5 plus 2 is equal to 7. Copy the denominator, 5. 6 and 2/5 will become 5 and 7 over 5. Step 2. Subtract the whole numbers and the fractions. 5 minus 3 is equal to 2. 7 minus 4 is equal to 3. Copy the denominator, 5. Step 3, you need to combine. So the final answer is 2 and 3/5. Fourth is mixed dissimilar fractions. For mixed dissimilar fractions, determine the LCD of the fraction and change it to its equivalent fraction using the common denominator. Add or subtract the whole numbers and the fractions. Simplify the resulting fraction if possible. Example, add 4 and 2/3 plus 5 and 2/6. Step 1, determine the LCD. Use the multiples of 3 and 6 to find the LCD. The LCD of 3 and 6 is 6. That is the denominator. Step 2, get the equivalent fractions. So 6 divided by 3 is equal to 2 times 2 is equal to 4. 6 divided by 6 is equal to 1 times 2 is equal to 2. Step 3. Add the whole numbers and then the fractions. 4 plus 5 is equal to 9. 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. Copy the denominator, 6. 6 over 6 is equivalent to 1. Therefore, 9 plus 1 is equal to 10. The final answer is 10. Another example, subtract 5 and 3/4 minus 2 and 2/5. Step 1, determine the LCD. Use the multiples of 4 and 5 to determine the LCD. The LCD of 4 and 5 is 20. That is the denominator. Step 2, get the equivalent fraction. 20 divided by 4 is 5 times 3 is equal to 15. 20 divided by 5 is equal to 4 times 2 is equal to 8. Step 3. Subtract the whole numbers and then the fractions. 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. 15 minus 8 is equal to 7. Copy the denominator. The final answer is 3 and 7 over 20. Last example, subtract 6 and 2/3 minus 4 and 5/7. Step 1. Determine the LCD. Use the multiples of 3 and 7. The LCD of 3 and 7 is 21. 21 is the denominator. Step 2. Get the equivalent fraction. 21 divided by 3 is equal to 7 times 2 is equal to 14. 21 divided by 7 is equal to 3 times 5 is equal to 15. Step 3. Since we cannot subtract 15 from 14, we need to regroup 1 or 21 over 21 from 6. 21 over 21 plus 14 over 21. 6 and 14 over 21 will become 5 and 35 over 21. 21 plus 14 is equal to 35. Copy the denominator. Step 4. Subtract the whole numbers and then the fractions. 5 minus 4 is equal to 1. 35 minus 15 is equal to 20. Copy the denominator, 21. The final answer is 1 and 20 over 21. Always remember the steps in adding and subtracting fractions. Step 1. Make sure the denominators are the same. If not, find the least common denominator or LCD. Step 2. Get the equivalent fraction by dividing the LCD by the denominator and multiply the answer or quotient to the numerator. Step 3. Add or subtract the numerators over the common denominator. Step 4. Simplify the answer.